We love storytelling on this show, and my next guest has a great story to share, and probably a very unique business model that we haven't talked about on the show before. My next guest is a disabled entrepreneur coach. I'm joined by Zoey Schvan. Welcome, Zoey. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Let's talk about your journey. Tell us a little bit about your condition and the sort of the diagnosis and challenges you've gone through yourself.
Well, I have something called familial dysautonomia. It's super rare, so don't feel bad you haven't heard of it.
Okay.
I'm the only person in Ottawa.
Really?
Yeah. It's very rare. There's only about 300 of us in the world, I think. I was diagnosed when I was, I think, 11 months from what I'm told.
Okay.
So I don't really remember much about it. It's a genetic condition, so I've always had it. It affects my autonomic nervous system. So it's very similar to POTS. I don't know if anyone's heard of that, which is coming up more and more as a long COVID condition. So mine is similar to that, only it's familial, so genetic.
So on a day-to-day basis, Zoey, what sort of challenges do you have?
Balance being one of the main ones. I have my walker here with me. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah, we can just see it there.
Yeah, so mobility. I have trouble swallowing, so I have to thicken any liquid that I drink to avoid aspirating. A few different things. I might have a coughing fit in the middle of our session. Just a warning, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not sick, that's just something that happens.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, there's a few different things, but those are the main ones, I guess.
And then, you decided, obviously, you wanted to be an advocate, not just an advocate, but you wanted to help those that wanted to get into, a small business, to become an entrepreneur. Where did that inspiration come from?
It kind of just happened on its own. I started my own business. I was a freelance writer at first. This was about 6-7 years ago. And I first just started doing that, and then I was contacted by someone at a local nonprofit. They wanted me to come on as a mentor.
Okay.
This was when the pandemic just started, so figured it was virtual. I mean, what could I what risk is in there? Sure,
Yeah.
Why not? And it just kind of felt right. I loved it. I went and got certified, took a bunch of courses, and then it just so happened that the first few of my clients were disabled, and obviously I am, so it was just kind of the right fit, and I realized there wasn't much out there for us.
Yeah, as I said, I've been doing 19 years of television. You're the first, disabled entrepreneur coach that I've I've sat down with. One thing you wanted to talk about today as well, Zoey, is sort of assumptions. When it comes to disabled entrepreneurs. What are some of those assumptions?
I think it's sad, really, but everyone thinks that we're not capable of either having a job or running a business. It's just not something we would do. I think they equate physical disability or any kind of disability with inability. And I just kind of came up with that. I don't know if that's really what people think, but yeah, it's just kind of assumed that we sit at home and do nothing.
Right. Accessibility being, I imagine, a big challenge as as somebody with a disability. Tell me about those challenges.
Well, I've witnessed so many entrepreneurs, for example, who are blind and are unable to access what they need on Zoom, for example, to access the proper equipment. It's ridiculous. And then there's also obviously the physical aspect. So a lot of places don't have ramps, don't have elevators, so these places we can't even get into.
Right. I think one of the other difficult things too with those with disabilities, from speaking to people over the years, Zoey, is that if you're on ODSP and you want to start a business, all of a sudden you lose what is keeping your day-to-day survival going because you want to start a business. Is that something that you talk to many people about? Yeah,
I actually have a special rate for people on ODSP.
Okay.
Because I want to make my services accessible. And I've gotten that a lot from people. You don't charge enough, you have to charge what you're worth, as a coach especially. But there's no point in charging something my clients can't afford, right?
Yeah.
So I have a special rate for those on ODSP, which I am too, so I understand where they're coming from. We can't make a certain amount of money.
Yeah, so people that
There's a
don't
limit, yeah.
understand that, Zoe, can you explain it to our viewers? Because I have a friend, Jennifer, if you're watching, who is on ODSP, and
Yeah.
she wants to do a very small, personal business, and she can't make a certain amount of money because then she loses her
Yeah.
ODSP, right?
Yeah, so that's another reason I have lower pricing. But no, the truth is, it used to be the limit was $200 a month.
Okay.
We can make, and then after that they take 50%. They have now recently raised it to 1,000, which is, it's an improvement.
Yeah.
But then after that they take 75%.
Wow.
So
Unbelievable.
yeah. It's
So explain to me, Zoe, how do you work with clients? What's the process like?
a lot of my clients are word of mouth. So people heard about me from someone, and then they reach out. We do a virtual it's all virtual right now, what I'm doing.
Right.
We do a virtual free consult for 20 minutes. We talk about what they're looking for, if I can help them. And it's happened that I can't, and then I refer them to whoever I think would work. But if it works, then we just start, and it goes with what they want. So I see some clients once a week. I see some once a month. And I have someone who just contacts me when they need me. So it's very client-centered, I guess I would call it. So I go with what they want.
Last thing, before we run out of time, wanted to talk partnerships. You're looking for partnerships. You're looking for funding as well. What type of things are you looking for?
Well, I am looking to, my ultimate goal is to create a whole incubator course.
Okay.
From the beginning to end of a business for disabled entrepreneurs. But unfortunately, I cannot charge these people a lot of money because they're all disabled like me.
Right.
So I'm looking for any kind of organization or business that's looking to hire me to offer a course like this. And I've done it before with other courses, so I do know it's possible.
It is possible. And we just brought up your website on screen, by the way, and that's the best place to find out more information, to, of course, reach out and get in contact with you if somebody wants to partner up, somebody wants to help Zoe with funding. And, of course, if you're looking for a great business coach, Zoe, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
A pleasure. We'll be right back after this.